Welcome to Grant Writing for Beginners from Scratch. This is W.C. Ballard, your step-by-step CEO, the author of Grant Writing for Nonprofit Step by Step, and I provide grant writing classes and mentorships for people who want to start 501c3s or who want to learn how to write or to start their nonprofit classes. But today we're going to talk about grant writing from scratch, so let's go. First, if you want to learn how to become a grant writer or how to write a grant, you need to understand the fundamentals, and that's where we're going to begin today. I'm going to take you through 5 steps. 1, what is a grant? 2, where do they come from? 3, what are the types of grants? And 4, what is a grant proposal? Then number 5, how do you get started? So number 1, what is a grant? Well, a grant is free money, yes, free money, given to a person, a group, or an organization, many who are nonprofit 501c3s, to help them do something important like helping the community, growing a business, feeding the homeless, and the list goes on. You do not pay it back, but you must use it for what you promised, or you may have to give it back. For example, let's talk about a grant that might pay for school supplies for kids, help build a community center, or feed the homeless. These are all types of grants. Where do they come from? Well, they usually come from 4 major sources: the government, a foundation, a business, or a corporation. Okay, what are the types of grants? Well, A, there are government grants, and there are local, state, and federal agencies that give grants. The bigger the grant is, the harder it is to get. And I have a video that talks about that. For example, a grant to train people for jobs, or a grant to build houses, or homes for veterans, so forth. That's what your government grants do. B, your foundation grants. They come from charitable organizations. They support causes like education, arts, or health. For example, a foundation that gives money to a music program. C, your corporate grants. Well, who are your corporations? They're right there in your local community. They're banks, grocery stores, etc. For example, Walmart. They give grants for different types of local activities. Individual grants, yes, there are individual grants. They are rare, but some are for students, artists, or people in need. For example, a grant to help someone go to college. I don't deal much with individual grants, but sometimes I will post something on what's going on in the individual community, but I mainly discuss grants for nonprofit corporations or businesses. So number 4, what is a grant proposal? Well, a grant proposal is like a letter or application where you ask for the money. You explain who you are, what you want to do, why does it matter, how much money you need, what you'll do with the money, and what you should be doing with the money is solving the problem that you're going to express in your proposal. There's a problem, and then how are you going to solve it? Think of it like asking someone to invest in your idea, but you're not selling anything, just asking for help with a good cause. So let's talk about the cycle. When you ask for a grant, what happens? Well, there's the pre-award cycle, there's the award when you get it, and then there's the post-award activities. As you can see, I have a chart above that talks about, first of all, you define your proposal, you research it, then you prepare it, then you find the sources that you want to get your grant from and apply. Then once it's awarded, you manage your grant, and then after you manage your grant, you close it out. Next, number 5, how do you get started? Step by step. Step number 1, you have to have an idea. What do you need help funding? Is it a school project, a community event, a new program, Or is it a new startup? Maybe you need funding to start up your organization. Make sure your idea helps others, solves a problem. In other words, there has to be a need in the community for whatever it is that you're going to do. Establish your program or organization first. I have a video that it's called, Are You Grant Ready? You have to do that first, and there are steps to that. Step 2, then after you picked your idea, you've got your program up and running, or you've got your idea all worked out with your mission statements, etc. Then you find the right grant. You can go to Grants.gov. There are grants watches, foundations, corporations, and there's research involved. And then you look for grants that match your idea and who you are. You're a nonprofit, are you an artist, are you a student, etc. We're still on number 5 on getting started. Step 3, you gather basic information. In other words, before you apply, you're going to jot down everything. What your project is about, who it helps, what it costs, why does it matter. In other words, you put together a whole laundry list that I do have available for my students on what you're going to do before you sit down to put pen to paper. Step 4, then you write your proposal, keeping it simple. You use plain language. You don't worry about sounding fancy. You just talk. You share your ideas and you tell a story. Be clear, be honest, and be specific. So we're still on number 5, how to get started. The final step is the most important step. You first have to learn how to write a grant proposal, or become a grant writer, or hire a grant writer to write your proposal for you. So whichever one it is, you can maybe you're still undecided. So if you are, subscribe to my channel and look at some of my other videos that might help you in this process. Some of the ones I've written down, these are just a few of them. How to become a grant writer. That's a good one if you really plan on writing it yourself. Are you grant ready? That talks about things you need to do into more detail. What I did in this video is I covered the basics and the general ideas of what you need to do. But then you have to delve deeper into the roots of how to start getting a grant funded and how to write one. The problem statement, that's how you talk about what the problem is that you're solving. 7 things to do to write a winning grant. So I have a lot of videos you can subscribe to. Now, if you don't want to go that route, I have detailed classes on Podia.com, and where you go 12 classes that'll walk you through in detail on how to write a grant or become a grant writer. And finally, here are the training sessions that tells you where you start. As you can see, number 1 is always the most important one, how to become grant ready. And it takes you step by step to every aspect of becoming a grant writer, writing a grant proposal. And I also have fill-in worksheets where you can actually start and end up with a basic proposal in hand when you finish with the 12 classes. I have examples, worksheets, and I have all types of tips for you. But if you don't want to take the sessions, go to my videos, get an idea of how I train, and then take it from there. I hope you've learned something from this. I'll be looking for my next videos because I'm going to continue to share things you need to do in 3 basic areas: how to become a 501c3, how to become a nonprofit, how to become a grant writer, and grant writing for beginners. Thank you. This is W.C. Ballard. Hope you've enjoyed it, or I've given you somewhere to begin. This is me, W.C. Ballard, checking out.